Hey guys, let's talk about VCs, private equities, and why people don't like them. Why do people hate private equity firms and private equity and venture capitalists? I call them VCs, vultures. Why don't people like them and why don't people trust them? Okay. Why do we not trust them? This is very close to me because clearly, this is my world. I work in banking and I've worked in banking, then started my own company payment rings. So we tap to pay with these rings, health rings, AI rings, and bracelets as well. So everything around payments, we do it. It's called Orukka, Orukka.com. Check us out. But I really want to get into this because it's an important topic, okay? And it's important. Just clear. I'll jump straight to it. Here's why 5 reasons, right? Why people don't trust VCs and private equity firms. Number one, hypergrowth, right? It's crazy, but there's extreme pressure and push towards hypergrowth. Let me tell you, typical again, this guy, so I'll tell you what. So if a VC invests 1 million in you, they want 10 million back. I'll talk about it in a minute and how that works, but that's crazy in terms of the numbers. You can't compare that to anything else. So why they give you the money and take that risk? The returns they make is 10 times that minimum, sometimes 20 times, sometimes 30 times. So that's crazy pressure to put on a startup. So VC, again, when people start companies, start ideas, they want to grow, okay, but they really want to solve a problem. You will hardly see an owner that doesn't want to solve a problem. But VCs, they come in, they take over the company and focus on growth. So that just drives the idea away. We know Red Lobster was in trouble for a while. We know Brewdog in the UK, they're now gone just a few months after being taken over by a VC. So VCs just come in, they take control and they squeeze as much as possible in terms of capital. And there's also focus as well. So VCs themselves, have the pressure on themselves, so on them as well. So what will happen is they go in, they put 1 million in you, they have their, let's call them limited partners, right? So they're GPs and they have an LP who's a limited partner. The limited partners want them to make money. So there is pressure on a VC that's coming to you to give you money. So there's pressure on them as well to go ahead and actually make money as well. So that pressure comes down so that they have to forcefully either kick you out, because you never see a VC that has one company. So usually they have a portfolio of companies and they benchmark you against them so that if you're not doing well, you're out at all costs. And there's a lot of stories around this. So if you add all that together in terms of one, the control, number two, the sales pressure, okay, number three, just their focus is not on your company, but on the suite of companies that they have and how they grow. It's just, you can't like them, okay? And if you like them, you're doing that at your own peril. They're just not trustworthy. And that's the history behind this, okay? And nothing against my VC, PE friends, okay, guys, we talk, okay? We might work in the future, but right now we haven't taken VC money, which is good. And even if we do, it's going to be on our terms, right? And that's the advantage there that we bring to the table. So I'm going to talk about why, okay? And this is what's important. So again, if you've learned up to that, you're good. Then you can drop off, right? Because that's the summary. But let's deep dive into it because this is a topic I like, okay? And I know this because, again, I've worked in banking all my life for 20 years so far. And then I've got my own company as well, which I've started, fintech and the payment range. So it's very, very different. But if you pick up any company, okay, and look at it, okay, every company is made up of 3 people. No matter where you are. Your pizza store down the corner, 3 people are involved. Your bank, 3 people are involved. You have a startup, 3 people are involved. You start a garage, 3 people. Any business that comes, anything at all, there are 3 people. You have a customer, you have the manufacturer, or whoever is selling, and then you have a banker or an investor or a VC or someone who's bringing the money. Those are the 3 people you need. Okay, 3 people. Start again. You've got yourself, which is a customer. You've got the bank who gives the money. And then you've got the person producing the device, producing the service, producing the manufacturer, let's call them that. And here's what matters. There has to be a balance between the 3. Okay, so there has to be, the customer has to be taken care of because they're bringing the money. The bank has to be taken care of because they're funding, okay? And then whoever is producing the service, producing the product, has to get paid. And that's the balance. If any of those things are off, no matter what business you're running, we're not talking, again, I worked in banking, and bankers were so good at coming up with jargons. Silly jargons like ARR, MMR, CAC, LTV, they're just a waste of time. This is just common sense. And that's the problem we have these days, right? We've moved away from common sense about how simple business is run to Excels, to numbers, to want to be MBA, because that's what they do now. They force business users to become MBA graduates. They don't have a clue. All they want to do is run a business. Yes, if you learn this today, Just learn something here. There are only three people that matters in any business. If any of those three are not satisfied, business is going downhill. No matter how rich it is, the time is going to go downhill. So let's talk. I'll start from one, the customer. Customers bring money, okay? So if you say to a customer, hey, I want to buy this phone for $100, the customer brings $100 and pays. That's it. The customer, they might have time to bargain with you. They might waggle with you a little bit. They might argue. They might go back and forth. But in truth, you bring a price, they accept it. That's it. Simple as that. Here's where things go wrong with that. Which, again, this is where common sense comes in. And I hope you guys listen to something here. If for some reason this phone, someone comes here and goes, this phone has $100, I'm giving you away for free. There's the problem. Because those three values are not respected. So now you as a customer, you're getting a product for free. There's nothing for free in life. So you know that something's suffering there. One of those two people, either the manufacturer is suffering and is going to go out of business tomorrow, or the banker is fronting the money and is going to do something to you on the user side. It's either going to use your data, it's going to sell something to you, or you're being defrauded, but something is going wrong there, guys. And that's, no matter how you play with it. I say that because it happens with, that's what happened with YouTube. So we're going with, someone's watching it. If you're watching this on YouTube, YouTube is free. And that's a product. But guess what? Someone had to produce it. And someone had to put the money in for the person to produce it. You're getting it for free. If you're getting it for free, that means you are being used. That means you're paying for it in the future. You're paying for it either by watching it. When you watch it and give your attention, then they can sell to you. That's how they make money. Or you go into Netflix. Netflix came in, they took out, I think they were selling everything for free. They were like, oh yeah, it's $1.99 to join. People were happy and running on board like sheep. We all ran on board. Guess what happened now? Price is now up to $29.99. Why? Because they've taken us in there, locked us all in, and increased the price. Now it's too late to go back to Sky or cable TV or DSTV, no matter what country you're in. It's too late because they've taken everything and pushed us and sucked us all in. Customers. So that's it. So I hope that's clear on that one side. As a customer, you have to pay. If you're not paying, there's a problem. Yeah. And you should feel sorry for the other two, or you should worry about the other two, or don't trust the other two. Our rings are not free. I mean, as part of the thing, I can tell you, we got an offer the other time from a VC, and they came to me. They were like, "Hey, we'll give you some money." I think they could put in 1 million, 1.5 million, or something. But again, I've seen money, so it wasn't that crazy for me. When people hear this, they jump at it. They're happy. You see the top price paper, and they're like, "Oh, they've raised 1 million." But the condition was that the rings are going to be free. And here's the point: when the ring is free, guess what? You're paying subscription. You pay subscription $20 a month on a ring. That's what they wanted to start. So that would mean that at the end of the year, someone's paying $200, okay, $250 sometimes, because you then rank it up. You try and force them to sell more, okay? And I'm going to talk about what VCs do to you as well. But in truth, I said no to that. I said, no, you better pay. If you don't pay for it, don't worry about it. Now our customers pay, they pay for the ring, and that's it. If they don't pay for the ring, don't worry. Like, that's the point. It's not, you don't have to force people to buy. Like, you don't go to a pizza store and you get a pizza for free. If you get a pizza for free, which is all Domino's do, there's a catch behind it. 2-for-1 pizza, you have to give your phone number, your email, your address, and everything. That's you giving up data for a free pizza. That's how they make their money. Same thing with us as well. So for me, I can tell you the conditions were so crazy that I felt sorry for my customers. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was a lot. Like, it was crazy. And the fact that it was free was worrying. I had a few people that came to me and said, hey, it's a good idea. I have advisors that came to me, bankers, well respected, and they said, oh, we'll try and get it for free. Obviously advisors. So I posed the question back to them, and they just couldn't believe the condition behind it. So these guys ask for things, and that's why I talked about VCs, why people don't like them. They come up with things where it serves their purpose for other companies, right? We all know what happened with Anthropic, what is happening with OpenAI, what's happening with Grok and X and all that, right? So the idea is they put money, people run in there for free, but it's not for free because there are things that is associated with that. So that's it. So I hope that makes sense on the customer side. As a customer, be careful. Know that nothing is free because you bring your money into the table and people use the money. Okay. Let me go to the next one, which is the manufacturer. Now, the manufacturer doing this, people doing the service in any business have to be paid. I've talked about that already on the customer side. So if you're a manufacturer and you started a company, you started a business, if you don't have a customer that is paying, you don't have a business. People talk about that here tomorrow. They come and they, just try and get users for free. When you get users for free, you can go. No. That's the worst. Like, that's what VC, that's what Wall Street, that's what, T combinators, that's what these accelerators force on people. And they do that on purpose as well. So you get numbers. And when you get numbers, you get data. When you get data, they know what to do with numbers as well. So, but you as a manufacturer, get this down. If you're a service producer, if you don't have a paying customer that is paying for you to do anything, you don't have a business. All you have is a bunch of people that you want to collect and steal from in the future because you're going to have to sell them in the future. Okay. We all know what happened to Facebook. We know what happened to YouTube. We know all the free user guides that they think you have in free, that's free in quote. TikTok, we know what happened there as well. So all these things that are free in quote, if you're a business manufacturer, if you're starting a business today, look for paying customers. If you don't have paying customers, you're waiting for someone to give you money. And you're going to regret that money because I'm going to talk about that next, which is the VCs and banks. I'm going to start with banks, okay? Before we start with bank, and I'm not, listen, when I talk about banks here, people think I'm just being polite or or because my friends are there. No, like I'm just being polite. Let me tell you the cost for banking. So everyone knows about banks and we call them, the devils, okay? But I'm saying to you, VCs and PE firms are more of the devil than banks. I'll tell you why. If you go into a bank, and you start a bank, okay? If you go into a bank, you go, hey, banks, you say, can I hold my 10,000? So they hold 10,000 from you. Now what happens then is that bank then goes ahead and borrows that money out, okay? When they borrow the money out, if they borrow the money to the government, which they do, they borrow the money to the government by buying treasuries and, again, treasury bonds are about 5%, right? So if they get 5% from the government, they pay you 1%. We feel that's cheating, right? Because that's 4% margin. Same thing as the worst case, they borrow the money out on the street. They borrow money out on the street, they charge 9 to 10%. They give you 1%. So that's 9%. And people go crazy about that and think, oh my goodness, banks are like, they just take our money. They're taking all the margins. But that's nothing. I won't say how small that is. It's so small that most people don't even Apple doesn't want to go into banking for that. Apple makes 50% margin on phones. Everybody knows that. 50% margins on their phones. Same thing as well with, anything. Pick a business tomorrow. The margins they make, apart from restaurants have very thin margins, but any business out there, they make more than 10%, 20%. Banks, their margins are very small. Mind you, they have to create offices and everyone knows all their offices. I'm against offices, by the way. Everybody knows how much they spend on offices. Their overhead, the costs are huge. Let's not forget there's regulatory capital costs as well. The regulators expect them to be regulated. And that means putting capital aside and things in case things go wrong. So the point I'm trying to make there is the fact that banks make about 9% margin, okay, give or take on, cash that comes in and out and is stored, in terms of fees and all that. Mortgage, even lower, mortgage is about 2%, accumulated over years. But the point I'm trying to make then is compare that to VCs. Tell you at the start, VCs, the smallest VC, like the most polite VCs makes 10% margins. That's right, 10 times of their margin. So if they give 1 million, I'll tell you, compare that to a bank. If you give the bank 1 million, they give you 1.1 million. That's okay. Okay, they make not a lot. They make what, 900K? That's nothing. Compare that to a VC. VCs expect 10 times their money. So when they give you 1 million, they expect 10 million back. I said this at the start. So if you start a business and a VC comes to you, and 9 times out of 10, they look at you, they're not looking at it because they love you. They're looking at you to see, okay, how much or how many customers does this guy have that we can use with our other businesses? And in this case, they say, okay, listen, you've got, 1 million customers that are not paying, because generally that's what people think these days. Oh, I just need users. I need users. So those users are not paying. What they do is they turn around and give you 1 million. And then they try and squeeze the money from the users that you have. So I talked about 10 times earnings, right? So that means if they give you 1 million, they expect to get 10 million back. In fact, they expect 100x. But let's go for 10 million. That means for you to pay the VC back 10 million, right, in about 5 years, right? That's maximum. After 5 years, they want their money back. So if you look at that, that means you need to be making, think about that, you need to make at least 50 million with that 1 million that you got. I'll tell you what, let's work the math. They give you 1 million right now. You go ahead and you sell, you buy, get customers here and there, try as much. You go for marketing because they want you to spend the money as quickly as possible. Go for marketing and hire people and do all that. You blow the money. That's what they call VC money. People are happy. They throw parties. They've raised money. Yay. Now what happens then is 1 million, they put someone on the board and make sure that they get their money back or they close you down. So what will happen then is you for 1 million, you need to make 10 million to pay them back. Of that 10 million, that's 10 million profit. So that means you need to at least make 20 million so you can give them back and then you can pay your way through work. This is what I'm saying. So it's crazy the amount. Oh, and then mind you that you're making 10 million. That means your sales need to be more. Your sales need to be at least 30 million because you need to sell, you make a profit, and within that profit, you split it in two because you pay them first You must pay them first, and then you pay yourself, pay your staff, pay everyone. So that's why your favorite startup usually goes bust after 1 year or 2 years after getting money from VCs. Because the VCs, they look for the money, that's what they pay you, but they go through the whole set of startups that they have, and they expect one or two of them to make money. If they don't make money, they're in trouble, you know? So I hope that explains why VCs can't be trusted and why they are not trusted, why people don't like them. Okay, people don't like them because it's clear. They try to force and squeeze money out of startup guys, out of business guys. So I hope that's explained everything. I don't put pressure again. Customers, please. So it's simple, right? Let's talk about the three VCs. I mean, if the money is there, if people are begging for the money, then they have no choice. They're going to give the money. In fact, there's a whole queue. They pretend like there's no money or they're looking for deal flow, but people are begging VCs for money. Okay, so they have no issues there. People always go and beg. There's always going to be that poor sap that's going to beg VCs for money. But on the other side then becomes customers. Customers, please, if someone is doing something, being a creator, pay them for it and don't do it for free. I mean, you wouldn't, again, people try and get discounts from their friends. I think you should pay them so they can actually produce more. Most people start businesses started because they want to cure something. I mean, they want to do something. They want to provide something to the world. There's no one person that started a company and said they want to be a billionaire, right? It just greed comes into it later. And I started this because, again, one of my friends got stabbed in London, got stabbed because of his phone. So I said, hey, if you're always carrying your phone around, we need to stop that. What do? We try and get a payment ring so that you can have to pay with your ring. Okay, if you're out on a concert, night out, wherever you are, trains, you can just tap to pay. That's where the idea came from. And I've seen a lot I went to Nigeria last time, and I can tell you, Nigerians have a lot of ideas. But the first thing they say as soon as they have ideas to say, hey, let's go to Silicon Valley, let's go raise money. My point is, I think we need to think that, okay, put a pin on it, right? Find out exactly what if you really, really need that money, and think of the implications of getting that money, such that if you've grown and you've done so well with the customers you have, maybe focus on that. Make them happy, right? Build a business. Go back to the basics of business. Basic of business is get your customer, pay your customer, go produce. Right now, we're waiting for free money, millions of money from VCs and thinking it's free money, but you have to pay that back. I'm going to stop there for now. And guys, if you have any questions, let me know. This is my field, obviously on the banking side. I'm not trying to say banks are better than VCs, but I can tell you, if you take money from a bank for a business, the amount of returns they get is about, I've said it already, 10% max, 15% max. VCs, they expect, we're talking about 100%, 1,000% is what they expect, not 10%. So the maths is there, the maths is clear. Be careful out there, guys. Don't trust anyone that throws money at you. And if anything is free, you're the product.